Good morning and welcome to another edition of Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swenson. Our Town, as always, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. Got to get right into it this morning. A 5-guest program. We'll talk about some events coming up this weekend. It's Czech Days in Protivin. We'll talk to Donnie Koshatka about that. Corn Days start in Waukon tonight. We'll talk to Sarah Bieber from the Waukon Chamber of Commerce. Deadline's approaching to register your kiddos for the fall activities from the Decorah Parks and Recreation Department. We'll chat with Blake Moen about that. And the school year starts next week in the Allamakee Community School District. We'll get our beginning of the year message from Allamakee School Superintendent Jay Mathis, but we'll kick off the program with Northeast Iowa Community College President Dr. Liang Chee. He will be our first guest this morning on Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. A new academic year begins Monday for Northeast Iowa Community College, and here to discuss many factors related to NICC is Dr. Liang Chee, the president of Northeast Iowa Community College. And Dr. we haven't discussed or haven't had you on the air since the time that you've made the announcement that this will be your final academic year as a president of NICC. What has made this the right time to step aside and turn over the reins to somebody else?
Well, Darren, first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Always good to visit with you. And also want to send greetings to your listening audience because without their support, NICC would not be where we are. And having said that, during COVID, it was very clear how great of a bunch of colleagues I have. They came together, they believe in our mission, they believe in what we do. So when I look at my decision, one of the things I look at is, well, how are my colleagues? They're in a good place. That's important. Number two, during the very difficult year, we continue to innovate. We continue to reach out to the people we serve. We never stop. So that tells me that we never lost our mission during COVID. And when you have a group of people who continue to focus on what we do, I know it's a good place. And definitely, if you look at our renovation projects throughout our district, they will be wrapping up at the end of this academic year, so probably summer of 2022. So I always believe that sometimes when you look at all the factors, it points to a time when it is just right for the next president to come on board. And that's why before Christmas 2020, I made the announcement. So it gave the college a year and a half to proceed with the process. So the college is in a good place. It's time for me to step aside and welcome the next president. And a lot of good things are happening. A lot of exciting things are happening. And I'm very glad.
How has the role of NICC president changed in your tenure?
Well, it has changed because we're always adapting to our environment. So for me, in the community is very important. Working with our K-12 partners, listening to their needs so that together, the K-12 partners in NICC presenting opportunities to Northeast Iowa region students is so important. So we are talking more, we're partnering more. In fact, this coming year, our concurrent enrollment, we will be exceeding our target again. And I want to thank our K-12. During COVID-19, it was very clear our relationship with our businesses. We were the first one to set up a hotline, and it's amazing how the businesses work with us to sustain. We were able to help them navigate. So the adapting is listening to the businesses to help them go through. So we are more in tune with our businesses from COVID. We understand what are working for them and also their stresses. And the third piece is our community. Everybody is affected, whether it's a small community or a large community. And we continue to adapt. And I also want to say that we pay more attention to the legislative action in Des Moines. So I spend more time helping our legislators understand what we do, because they invest, part of this taxpayers' money in NICC. In return, we give it back in terms of return on investment on their behalf to the taxpayer. So over the years, I think we listen better, we act quicker, and we're not afraid to create partnership. There's hardly anything I can think of that we don't partner with anybody anymore. So those are some of the trends that will continue after my time.
And you touched on it before we got going with the interview, and it wasn't obvious to me, but once you brought it up, I was like, wow, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. Part of the reason you gave so much time before making the announcement of your retirement is you cover a large amount of area in Northeast Iowa. I believe you said 5,000 square miles, and there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of needs in that 5,000 square miles, and the Board of Trustees has to get a lot of people's input to see what direction they want to go with the next leader. Explain, just going a little bit more in depth in your reasoning to giving that much time, because for the Board of Trustees to make the right decision, they need that much time to do so.
Yes. And during COVID, when I made the decision, we were still in the midst of it. And we are still in it, but we know a lot more. And so for me is to make sure that my colleagues understand that I am still here. I'm not coasting. No, that is no coasting at NICC. We are still in service to our community. So once I make the decision, the key thing is to finish up last year the best we can and really look forward to this year. What else can we do for the community? So is to get people to start thinking positively forward about what's coming. And that's why giving the college and the trustees and the community plenty of time so that during a very difficult, challenging time, we still have time, not under stress, but we still have time to have a methodical and meaningful and thoughtful process of selecting the next president. Yes, I'm the president of NICC, but I am of service to everybody in the community. And so everybody deserves a voice in the selection process. And I want to say that the Board of Trustees have done a fantastic job of managing the process. And as I said before we came on air, the search committee has been formed. And for next step would be, how do we now engage the community inside NICC and outside NICC to actually think about the next profile, the expectations of the next president. So having time is a luxury during a challenging period.
And you talked about how the college has overcome the challenges of the last 18 months and still focused on the mission and the service of the community. What do you credit that to? How was the college able to take the lemons that the world gave us and turn them into lemonade?
Again, I come back to our mission. We realize that we are a college of the community. That's why the word community is in our name. And during COVID-19, we realized that we have to step up, because that's not the time to stand aside and say, well, let's see what happened. No, we cannot. We have to be very active. And remember, we live in the community. This is our home. So the college itself, what we continue to do is learn as much as we can during the COVID-19, because there was no playbook. But whatever we learn, not only do we use it internally, we actually share it with our community, the nonprofits and also the businesses. So for example, when we talk about the protocol, the cleaning procedures, so on and so forth, and also the guideline from CDC, some of our businesses, they don't have the resources to go find those information. Guess what? They don't have to. What we did was we find it and we collate it and we synthesize it and we send it out to the businesses at no cost. That way, it allows them to focus on doing business. We basically focus on providing a way to be safe. And when the federal government came up with some of those federal dollars to support businesses, Some of them didn't know where to go for the forms, how to fill out the form, how to submit it. Guess what? We help them do that. So I would say that for us as a college, because of our mission has always been community-minded, community-focused, even during COVID, it is second nature to us. And that's what we do best. And I want to say that the community has been very supportive of us. They actually allow us the opportunity to partner with them. So I want to give credit to our community. They have helped us work together through a challenging time.
And I think with every aspect of society in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, if you're not learning something from it to improve yourself moving forward, you're not taking advantage of the opportunity, and not the opportunity you wanted, but it's the way the world is right now. What is something that NICC learned during COVID-19 to perhaps even do a better job of focusing on its mission?
One of the things that we definitely learned a lot is that every family is different. So when, for example, some of the schools needed to shut down, well, guess what? You have young children at home. Somebody has to stay at home to take care of the children. And when you do that, some of them have to quit their jobs. So they have things that they have to think about: childcare, they have to think about rent, they have to think about how to pay bills, how to get groceries. So as a college, when we actually work with them, one of the things we are going to continue to do better is to say, what in your life is going to help you in your education, but at the same time, what in your life are also stressful to you? Can we help you? So for example, some of the families didn't have adequate computer. We provided that. Some of them didn't have the money for childcare. We provided that. And some of them didn't know how to navigate some of the social services. We helped them. So ongoing as a college, we are going to take even more of a holistic look at our student and say, not just signing up for classes, but what else in your life that we need to know that can be a barrier to you, and can we help you overcome it? That is one thing that we are going to continue to do more. We started doing that, years ago, but not enough. We got to double down and say, life sometimes, like you said, give people lemonade. I need to know, is it a lot of lemonade? A lot of lemon? What do I need to do to make sure that it allows them to continue to survive day to day?
You mentioned a lot of the renovation projects that have taken place not only on the campuses of Northeast Iowa Community College and some centers throughout the area as well. I know a lot of that was based on the funding of that bond issue that just got renewed just a few years ago. You mentioned the community aspect to it. How appreciative are you of voters voting something, I think around 75, 80%, to keep that funding mechanism there so you can keep moving forward in improving your facilities?
I cannot say enough gratitude, Darren, to our voters. They passed the bond levy by over 83% approval. That was a commitment they have in NICC. So what we continue to do is make sure that we're worthy of that trust and commitment. So we actually are investing those dollars, $39 million, in our facilities, in our technology. And during COVID, the silver lining is we realize how we can teach better, how we can learn better, how we can support our students better. So for example, some of the technology that we have not used as much, we are using more. So as we continue to make progress, we continue to look at what's out there and how can we use the dollars. And I can tell you that, this is something that the college is so appreciative. During a difficult time, yes, we have renovation, but the outcome is going to be so good for Northeast Iowa. The facility is going to be up to date. New technology is going to be there. And we're going to provide different ways of teaching, different way of learning. And I just cannot wait for all the projects to be done and to welcome the community into their house, their community college, and look at what the future of teaching and learning is like and can be like.
As for the classes that begin in person on Monday, what type of protocols do you have in place as of right now, and how flexible do you need to be with those protocols moving forward?
Safety is a priority for anybody. As you know, Darren, we are a public institution, so it's not just the students, we also have public coming in. So we continue to clean our facility just like before. We make sure that we have adequate equipment and also face covering, so on and so forth. We continue to ask people to wash their hands as much as possible. And we follow the CDC guideline. So when people are wanting to wear their face covering inside our facility, we support that. So it is a moving environment. We will continue to look at the CDC guideline. And I would say that before last May, before graduation, we actually hosted a clinic at the Kalmar campus, the vaccination. And we were able to support 150 some people through that. And in the Piasta campus, the public health had some public events at the community center, and we support that. So ongoing, we are going to, again, partner with our public health to make sure that vaccination is available to the people who want it. But most importantly, we want to provide information to people about vaccination, about the COVID, about the changing nature of the virus, so that people can make the best decision. I am very, very certain that our colleagues are very aware of how we need to help each other be safe. As a public institution, as I said, people come and go all the time. We need everybody's help to do what we can for ourselves and for everybody. So safety is a priority.
And I know certain aspects of your education, you have your classroom instruction, but there's a lot of hands-on instructions with labs and with tech programs and everything like that. Were you able to hold those as normal as possible with protocols last year? And is that the plan moving forward?
Yes, we are to a certain extent. So for example, our health-related program, they had to go to clinicals in, let's say, a nursing home or a clinic or a hospital. During some of the months, they were not able to because the hospital had to restrict access. But when they open up, we were able to follow the protocol to get in. Now, the others that are more in our facility, such as welding, such as the John Deere Tech, electrical, diesel and all that, and auto, we were able to work with the faculty colleagues. I'm so proud of them. They took a look at their program and say, this is how we're going to continue to teach hands-on, and this is how we're going to do it in a safe way. So we actually asked our faculty instructor to come up with the process that makes sense to their program. And we support them with the resources. So yes, Darren, we were able, by the end of the summer, we were able to get everybody through that had to do their hands-on experience. So proud of my faculty colleagues.
Well, that's pretty awesome right there. And final question for you. What's your message to the students and faculty? What's your message to the community as you start another academic year on Monday?
My message is that we are here for a purpose. We are here to make sure that we improve lives through education and training. We are here to help business grow. So driving business success is very important. Number three, we're here to make sure that our community is stronger because of what we do with them and for them. So the new year, we are going to be even more focused on our mission. Yes, COVID is still with us, but we are not paralyzed by it. We're going to continue to adapt, continue to pivot. All I ask the community to do is help us get through this, be patient with us, and anything that it can do with us and for us, please do. And I am looking forward to a very strong year because I am very certain that what we went through make us stronger. And this college is committed to serving our community in 5,000 square miles. And I cannot wait to get our classes going.
Dr. Wee, we appreciate your time as always. I kind of chuckled a little bit when you brought up the potential of coasting into retirement. I don't think you have a coasting bone in your body with all the stuff you're involved in and all the hard work you put in to the community and the community college itself. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend, and have yourself a great 2021-2022 academic year for Northeast Iowa Community College.
Thank you, Darren. And I want you to know that my parents brought me up well. And at the same time, the Midwest values of working hard, taking care of each other, I embrace that because it's part of me. So thank you again for the opportunity. And again, thank you to our Northeast Iowa community for being so good to Northeast Iowa Community College.
Dr. Liang Chee, president of NICC. Next week, the school year begins in the Allamakee Community School District, and talking now with Allamakee Schools Superintendent Jay Mathis. And Jay, I know the activities are starting their practices. Everyone's getting their back-to-school shopping done. Teachers are getting ready for a new academic year. Is this the time of year that really gets everybody in education just kind of juiced up and fired up, knowing the fact that at least for now, things are going to be a lot more normal than perhaps they've been the last 18 months?
Yeah, I think so, Darren. It's certainly the time of year that if you're an educator and like what you're doing, that you're fired up. It's great to have some summer rest and relaxation, but it's time to get back at it, and it's always fun when you see those kids coming back to practices, and it gets you certainly in the spirit.
And I know from a calendar perspective, your school year will begin next Wednesday, the 25th. The state allows you to start on the 23rd of every year in the month of August. What was your reasoning for setting the calendar to start next Wednesday?
Yeah, well, a couple things went into that. One is the first legal starting date is for school is the 23rd, but that is on a Monday. Makes for a long week, especially for elementary students and teachers for that matter. And so the other part of it was that we decided that we will do remote learning on snow days and not make those up. Now, technically, we can't count those days, but we have about 8 extra days worth of hours built into our calendar. So as long as we don't have more than 8 snow days, we don't plan to make those up, and we will require students to log in and do learning on snow days. So that being said, we didn't have to be as critical about trying to squeeze in every single day to get our number of hours. So it kind of freed us up to start on a Wednesday, the 25th, instead of with a full week. So we like it. I think it'll be good for students, and we also were able to then build in some days off on President's Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. They're not snow makeup days, they're days off. And so, again, I think at that time of year, students and staff will welcome that short break. So that's where our decision came from, Darren.
And when you talk about snow days and preparation for those snow days, seemingly like when you look at a year, it seems to work out that you either have like 0 snow days or like 15, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it, you know. Maybe they should change that saying from when it rains it pours to when it snows it blizzards or something like that. But you're right.
And I know a lot of districts are discussing what many call the return to learn plan. I know it's something that boards and districts had to formalize last year. When you look at where you're at related to return to learn and the world the way it is related to COVID-19, is it a formal plan that the district has to come up with this year? Is it a continuation of what you had in place last year? How does that work as you begin another academic year?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I would say the latter. It's a continuation of what we had last year. Last year, the state required, when they said that we would have school after closing us down that prior spring, that each district would have to have a return to learn plan. This year, the state wasn't going to require it, but the feds, with all the funding that they've given us, said we need something in return, and part of that was what they deemed to be a return to learn plan. So we took last year's, we updated it, and really we're picking up where we left off last year. A couple of differences. One is we will not be giving an option for at-home learning this year. We will only be doing in-person learning except on those snow days, as I mentioned. But we're not requiring masks. So really we're kind of picking up where we left off at the end of last year. That being said, the public health department had offered some vaccines to students early in the summer that we had here at the high school, and I'll put a plug in. I know it's probably a little late, but for this coming week, or this week on Wednesday, tomorrow, there'll be another one here for 12 through 18-year-olds. So we're trying to give some opportunities for those that want vaccine. We're hoping that sometime soon that those younger kids can have an opportunity, if they wish to be vaccinated, to get that. So we're sure hoping for a great school year and no outbreaks of the virus.
And of course, we've talked about this before. I think one thing that every facet of society, every workplace got to know over the last 18 months was the ability to be flexible should conditions change. As part of your plan, is there flexibility built into that?
We certainly learned that lesson last year, and our teachers learned some great skills. We will still be using our learning management systems, what our people would know as Canvas or Seesaw, depending on if they've got elementary students or high schoolers or middle schoolers, and the teachers will still be posting lessons there. So if they're home ill, they know what their assignments are and can work on those. If we are told that we have to provide at-home instruction, we'll shift to that. And as you said, be flexible and ready to adapt to make the school year work.
We've also discussed before the ability to analyze where the district is at when it comes to academic performance. In the spring, those state assessment tests were given out not only in your district but all around the state of Iowa, and it provides districts, and not only solo districts but the state as a whole, a chance to see where everybody is at and see where those 3 months that you weren't in school in 2020, if there's any catching up that needs to be done. What's the latest on analyzing that data? How do you determine how to move forward from an instructional standpoint based on that data that you have received to this point?
Yeah. So kind of like every year when we get data back at every district I've been at, there's always some good news and some bad news, it seems. I've learned that through the years, you try not to get super excited when one year looks better than others for a group of students or for your whole student body, and not to get too panicky if things don't look well. Since we didn't have tests the year before, it was hard to compare. Typically, you take that assessment data and look at it, I guess the word would be longitudinally or over time. We try not to pigeonhole certain classes as being a real good class or a bad class, but look at just where were areas that the students did well or didn't do well. One thing we were disappointed in, to answer your question, Darren, was we were concerned that we thought our math scores could have been better, and so we did invest quite a bit of resources this year to a new math curriculum that we're excited about and are hopeful that it will help meet some of the needs of our students. This is elementary through high school, so that's one area that we're really focused on this year.
And I know when it comes to taking where you're at from an instructional standpoint, there's probably not one subject where you're going to bat 1,000 in that 100% of students are going to do well in something, or 100% of students are going to do poorly in something. What's a level that, a long-winded question here, what's a level that of proficiency that the district would like to see in a particular area to judge whether or not things are moving in the right direction? Maybe it's a weird way to ask it. Hopefully you understand my question.
Yeah, no, you know, well, I guess what I would say to that is there's kind of three things we look at, and I think what you're alluding to is what we would consider proficiency, and what percent of the students in the class meet that benchmark or that proficiency, and that's very important. We usually shoot for, well, we'd love 100%. That's what you shoot for, but usually it's 70, 80, maybe 90 on a really good year. And so, again, we don't get too hung up on that. Now, if we're down in the 70s, then we really start to analyze things pretty closely. The other measure then, besides just straight how many students are proficient, is growth. So and so we get, instead of just percentiles like we did in the past, we get raw scores now, and in addition to the percentiles. And so we look, did the kids make a year's growth? So they may not have been proficient last year, and they may not be proficient this year, but if they gained like 10 or 20 percentile points, that's pretty darn good growth. And so the testing folks typically tell us what a year's growth at a grade level looks like in a raw score. And so we look at proficiency like you mentioned. We look at growth from one year to the next. And then the third thing we look at is what's called gaps. And that's where, if we look at all the girls as a group and compared to the boys, we would expect that those scores would be similar. Or if we look at, let's use a great example here, a special needs student group of students versus regular needs students, we don't want to see a huge gap. We want to always try to close that. And so we'll pay particular attention to groups that I guess you would say underperformed, and try to figure out, okay, what instruction can we give them and what supports to bring them up to the, to the other groups. And so there's a lot to it, and that's why with our monthly all-day in-services, those are things that our teachers and administrators are looking at, and and they don't do it just once a month either. They try to look at that throughout the year, even with like an end of unit exam, is they'll look at, okay, how many were what we would consider proficient, you know, how did they score compared to perhaps a group from the year before, although that's a little bit apples to oranges, and how did our, you know, did we have some gaps between, you know, some of our groups of students if we look at those. So there's an awful lot of time that is spent looking at those things and using that data to kind of guide our lesson planning for the next week, the next year. You know, you get the idea.
And thanks for digging out the proficiency word that I was looking for. I owe you one there, Jay. But
That's okay.
A couple more questions for Jay Mathis. Of course, November is school board elections. Do you have some terms coming up on the school board this year? And if so, if people are interested in serving on the board, what should they do? How are they able to get their hat in the ring, if you will?
Yeah, so we have a couple open this year. Scott Melcher is in our Director District 1, which is a rural one, kind of more of the south and east portions of our district. And then Al Rissman's term is up, and he is an at-large, so anyone that lives within our district could take out papers. Those papers are available here in our business office. Jamie Curtin, our business manager, would be the one to get those from, and you have those papers. You need to get 50 signatures of district residents, and those have to be turned back into us by September 16th for us to turn over to the courthouse to get your name on the ballot. So encourage anyone with interest in serving the school district and being a representative of all of our patrons to stop in and pick up paperwork for that.
And final question for you, Jay. What's your overall back-to-school message for the community as you get ready to start another academic year next week?
Well, gosh, it's an honor for us to serve our students. We take our role very seriously. We think we have one of the most important roles in a community, and we take that, as I said, very seriously, and look forward to working with the young adults, young kids this year, and our staff is working really hard to get ready to have a great school year. We hope that that some of the breakouts here with the coronavirus will settle down. Last year we found out that kids at school were not a big contributor to any outbreaks, and we hope and pray that that's still the same with this school year, but we'll do everything we can to keep them safe and give them a great education this year.
Jay, appreciate the time as always. Look forward to our next conversation next month. Here's to a great 2021-2022 school year in the Allamakee Community School District.
Thanks, Darren. I appreciate it.
Jay Mathis, Allamakee Schools Superintendent. One season is closing, another is opening up with the Decorah Parks and Recreation Department. I've had this guy as a broadcast partner. I've talked to him on interviews on other matters. Good to talk to him in his new role with the Decorah Parks and Recreation Department, Mr. Blake Moen. Thanks for taking the time this morning, Blake.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks, Darren. It's fun to talk to you again. And yeah, thanks for having me.
And of course, one of your responsibilities is the pool, and that's coming to a close this weekend, from what I understand. Correct?
Yep, that's correct. Final day for the pool is this Sunday, August 22nd. Will be our last day for open hours, and then we are actually continuing on with our morning and 11 and 12 o'clock lap swim and aqua size classes through September 3rd. That'll be a Friday, September 3rd will be our last day there. So we've had a great summer at the pool, and we're looking forward to wrapping up on a good note.
I'd imagine having a full summer as compared to a partial summer last year, that had to be a good thing for really everybody involved, right?
Yeah, it really was. From a staffing standpoint, for our community members as well coming to the pool, also looking at this year with swimming lessons and whatnot. So that was good as well. Lots of opportunities for lap swim and our aqua size classes, of course, taking on. And it takes a lot of people to teach those classes and a lot of people to be a part of the things and the different years that go on at the Decorah pool. But I would say overall it was a very successful summer. It took a lot of people to do, and we're appreciative of those people that helped us with the summer at the pool.
As we touched on, one season closing out, another season opening up. The fall activity registration open right now. What activities does the Park and Rec offer in the fall?
Yeah, we offer a wide array of activities that try to cover a lot of different age groups. Some of the ones that we have registration off and running now that folks can go online and register for would be our flag football program, our Spikesters volleyball program as well, which is some of our youth volleyball, youth flag football programs. We also do have a co-ed softball league that is going on this fall as well. We also have information about after school program, and we also do have information as well for our one-day Touch a Truck program, which is always a fun program as well. So some of those fall offerings are in offerings, registration options, and dates and information are on our website and can be seen there as well.
And the easiest way to sign up is right on the website, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We've had online registration for a few years now, but it's been a really nice tool, not only for our community members, but us in the office too, to be able to organize our participants and stay up to date there. And it's also been very easy for us to post new offerings as they come. So it's a nice opportunity for people, but people can also still come into our office as well and register with us for those said programs here in the office too.
And anything else you need to pass on from the Parks and Recreation Department?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So first and foremost, we just want to thank everyone. As always, our summer part-time staff, our volunteer coaches, and our sponsors as well, just for everything that they do to help make our programs run, because we can't run all of the programs that we offer in the summer or the fall or winter, spring months. So huge thank you to them as well. And we look forward to continuing to offer programs and to also look forward to just kind of staying up to date on things, and can't wait to get fall programs off and running.
Blake, appreciate the time as always. Here's to a great fall of Decorah Parks and Recreation activities.
Wonderful. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it.
Blake Moen from the Decorah Parks and Recreation Department. Beginning today, it's Waukon Corn Days, and with us to discuss that is Sarah Bieber from the Waukon Chamber of Commerce. And Sarah, it's always good to have these community festivals back, and they've all been back this summer after 2020 with the world being the way it was. You guys got to be excited to get Corn Days rolling again here this evening. How much work does it take to put on this festival?
Oh man, it takes so much work. I know I'm just the face of this morning, but I have a whole team of people behind me that is working together to make this event happen. We've got our Chamber of Commerce board members who all have their specific tasks, and they're going out into the community to get volunteers, to get food, to get supplies. We have educational corn trailers coming in, which was another bit that we had help getting that. And we have a corn pit coming in. We have our WW Dairy Wagon. So this is really a community-wide event. We can't do this without the help of our community.
And it all starts tonight at the Allamakee County Fairgrounds. It's a good night to not to dirty any of your own dishes, not to turn on the oven or the grill at home. Let the Corn Days meal be your meal tonight. It'd be a good opportunity to do that from 4 until 7, I'd imagine.
Yes, we love to feed you all. Come out and have some corn.
And that's from 4 to 7 at the Allamakee County Fairgrounds. And beginning at 7 o'clock, one of the fun events of Corn Days this evening. Tell us about the parade.
So the parade is going to be starting at the fairgrounds, and we've got our fire department, we've got our veterans heading off that parade, and we also have special guests, our business of the year and our person of the year, which is Jim's Full Service Gas Station, and also Dusty Rounds of Dusty's chiropractic office. He is the person of the year, and then Jim's Full Service was the business of the year, so you'll catch them in the parade tonight too.
And Friday, some more fun events on the docket. What's going to be up on Friday?
On Friday, we've got some things going on in the evening. Green Valley Getaway is going to be doing a patio fish fry with cornhole on the lawn and a bouncy house for the kids. And Lid's Bar and Grill will also be having a dinner special. And then we've got some live DJ music at Goodfellas later in the evening.
And some family friendly and more fun coming up on Saturday. Tell us about that.
Yes, on Saturday, the hospital is going to be hosting a family fun run. That's going to be starting at 8 a.m. It's free. Registration is at the hospital, a 5K run. At 9 a.m., we've got the softball tournament at the fairgrounds. And then at 9 to 2, WW Homestead is hosting their annual Corn Days car and bike show. So you can catch some ice cream and check out some really cool cars.
And everything wraps up on Sunday, from what I understand.
Correct. On Sunday, we actually are pushing it a week later.
Okay.
It's going to be Sunday, August 29th to accommodate for our pilots. The Knights of Columbus is hosting a fly-in breakfast up at the airport, and the airport hangar will have the planes up there, helicopters, and just a first come, first serve plane ride, but all you can eat pancakes, sausages, and beverages.
And you can get some Corn Days t-shirts from what I understand. How does one pick those up?
I think the ordering for that is now closed,
Okay.
But we had a Corn Days contest for our t-shirts, t-shirt design contest, and Epic Wear in town supplied the t-shirts for that. And we've got some really nice adult t-shirts and some kids t-shirts as well. So hopefully you put in your orders for those already.
Oh, sorry to jump the gun on that end of things, but nonetheless, should have paid attention to detail. I sometimes fail to do that, but give us one final invitation for Corn Days the next few days and all the fun that will be happening in Waukon.
Yes, we look forward to having you all out. Come on out. You can get all you can eat corn, lots of family events, lots of good food, and just a really nice time to just be together after we've been separated for so long. We're really excited to have this event open to our community members to give them something to do together.
Sarah, we appreciate you the time talking about Corn Days. Best of luck with the event coming up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun in Waukon.
Thank you.
Sarah Bieber from the Waukon Chamber of Commerce. Corn Days starting tonight. Coming up this weekend is Czech Days in Protivin. It is the 43rd annual Czech Days put on by Holy Trinity Catholic Church, and one of the co-chairs of the Czech Days Committee is my good buddy Don Koshatka, who's on the line with us this morning. Donnie, thanks for taking the time. That third weekend in August in Protivin is always a good time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And we got a lot of events planned for you people, a lot of food, and just a lot of good fun, a lot of music and food, again, I repeat. And hey, we're looking forward.
And, of course, the events start on Friday night. All sorts of sporting events and some music Friday night as well. Tell us about what's going on then.
We're going to start out on Friday night. They're going to have just Tim the Music Man right in the Protivin Community Center. They're going to start serving food at 6 o'clock. They got a volleyball tournament starts then, and also a softball co-ed starts at 6 o'clock on Friday night. We're not going to have any big entertainment in the big tent on Friday night, but we sure do Saturday night and Sunday all day and Saturday afternoon.
And we move on to Saturday. Pretty much you got events starting at 8 in the morning and going to 1 in the morning on Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. If you can't find something to do on Saturday, you're a pretty boring person, I'm guessing.
Well, I'll tell you, on Saturday, we start again with our volleyball tournament. Then we have our softball tournament at 8:30, volleyball tournament at 8. Our antique tractor and car show is going to start at 9 till 3. I'm pretty involved with that, and we'd like people to be entered at least before 11 so they don't have to come and drive in and be kind of where the people are. That's all we ask. We got a free sandwich for all our participants, and we got some nice medallions with about 8 prizes for different categories and a couple for the tractors. Community band is going to play in the main tent at 11:30 to 1. 12 o'clock to 5, we have kids inflatables. 12 till 7:30, we got bingo. 1 to 4, a cakewalk. And in the big tent, 1 p.m. to 5, we got Barefoot Becky and the Ivanhoe Dutchman band. A very good band's been with us for years, and glad to have them back. At 5:30, we got the Czech Days Mass with the Czech Choir. Tim the Music Man will play again at the Community Center. And our big band at 9 o'clock on Saturday night till 1 is Decoy in the main tent. Should be a very good entertainment for all.
And that's a full day of events on Saturday, and another really full day of events coming up on Sunday as well.
Sunday is kind of an awful fun day. Sunday, we're going to have at 9 o'clock the softball tourney. Then we turn to the polka mass with Jim Busta and Molly B. And if you've never had that or experienced that or been to that, I should say, just something very unique and different. They just play polka songs with religious content. It's very, very nice. 11:30 to 1, the community band plays again. Bingo, of course, 12 till 6. Kids pedal tractor at noon. Kids activities 12 to 5. And then at 1 o'clock till 6, we got Jim Busta with Molly B in the main tent. Keep in mind, one thing I'm kind of forgetting here, all the entertainment is free. We are going to have a few donation buckets around, along with, we have a lot of sponsorship. 1 to 4 is the cakewalk. 6:30 is the big raffle and auction in the main tent, and that wraps it up. Food all day in the community center and at the ballpark.
And if you're hungry, you just touched on it. The community center are going to be serving 5 to 8 Friday night, 10:30 to 8 on Saturday, and 10:30 to 5 on Sunday. And if you're hungry, that's the place to go, it looks like.
I'll tell you what, I got the inside scoop on the kolaches. We've never made any more. We always usually sell out on Saturday afternoon, about 3 to 5 o'clock. And I always thought we should have it for our Sunday participants. And this year, we have 1,717 dozen kolaches made. That's over 20,000 kolaches. I think we're going to make it till Sunday.
Can I say oofta to that, or is that not allowed in Czech days?
Well, we're going to let you just because you're Darren.
And of course, there's some good community businesses making the bands and the entertainment possible, and making it those bands and entertainment possible for free. Why don't you give those folks some love?
Okay, what we got going there is the place in Protivin, our restaurant, the place, Koshatka Farm Equipment, Arts Milling Service, and Farmers Mill are our local participants with the band sponsors, along with 3 banks. We got Citizen Savings Bank of Protivin, Cresco Bank and Trust of Cresco, and also CUSB Bank in Cresco. So we want to thank all them people for giving a very generous donation that pays for these bands to come on in and play. And that's what keeps it from having to charge admission. And we'd like to continue to do that.
All right, Donnie, give us one final invitation to come to Czech Days this weekend.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, we haven't listed all our food yet.
Okay.
We got homemade chicken noodle soup, We got homemade cream chicken. This is all at the center. Bratwurst are throughout and at the ballpark, along with a ribeye sandwich. That's at the ballpark. Then the homemade kolaches are sold at the main center. They got various desserts. Homemade rollicky comes with your chicken noodle soup or cream chicken. Hey, that should wrap it up.
Yeah, if you walk away hungry from Protivin this weekend, it's your own fault. Now I'll give you one final chance to give the invitation to come to Protivin Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, I'll tell you what. One thing we do have for you beanbag throwers out there at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. There's a beanbag tourney. I'm going down my list and I just see that. And sometime there's a good old player out there that wants to participate. Hey, Vitamin Vas, and that's welcome. Thank you.
All right, Donnie, we appreciate you taking some time. Thanks to you and all of the Czech Days Committee for all your hard work and putting this show on. Going to be another great weekend in Protivin, and I tell you to have fun, but you have no problem doing that, I know.
Thanks for the interview, Darren. And hey, you all come out. Thank you now.
Don Koshatka talking to us about Czech Days this weekend in Protivin. Thanks to our guest on the program, NICC President Dr. Liang, Chee, Waukon Superintendent Jay Mathis, Blake Moen from the Decorah Parks and Recreation Department. Also, Sarah Bieber from the Waukon Chamber of Commerce. Corn Days starting tonight. Big parade starts at 7 o'clock this evening. And don't forget Czech Days, as we had the legend himself, Donnie Koshatka, on this morning. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust. And thanks to you for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.